And welcome back to another video. Giuseppe Conte, in Italian politics, for many Italians, is not the most loved person in the world, you know. He's the one who put, in his political party, Italy into lockdowns, mandatory GBWs, social distance, and these CPMs, the coloured zones of the plague. Well, the latest caping crusader lunacy he's been up to is protesting in front of the Italian Parliament, Montecitorio, with his band of ludicrous, ridiculous supporters of his political party, the Cinque Stelle. And they've done a flash mob, waving their, utility bills in the air, say the Italian government has to pay half of the bills. Well, the Italian government is just only a protest against Giorgia Meloni. It's not the fault of Giorgia Meloni if these idiots 3 years ago had voted sanctions against Russia, giving money to Kiev and Zelensky, and therefore not importing any more gas or petrol from Russia. They destroyed the mainstream thinking about more sanctions, and probably explains why our electricity bills and fuel bills are fucking expensive. Because these cocksuckers, they sustain sanctions against Russia and funding a war which more than millions of Ukrainians died for nothing. In the name of who? In the name to have the resources as usual. I think they're a bunch of hypocrites to have the cheek to protest, because they're the ones who voted the bills, sanctions against Russia, giving money and weapons to Zelensky in the end. And they are part of the globalist system, basically, Agenda 2030, and all that rubbish from that half of the woke left here in Italy. I think people, not many Italians, remember what this person done to it. He done a lot of harm. He destroyed livelihoods, people's businesses, and it's not exactly one of the most admired politicians in this country. I think he's one of the most hated in the list for what harm he done to this country, basically. So, why the bloody hell you have to protest? It's not against it's not a fault Giorgia Meloni we got high electricity bills. You lot voted at the beginning of the conflict 3 years ago in the Italian Parliament. We must sanction Russia, must boycott Russia, support Zelensky in the war. And all those firearms which pass through the airport of Pisa, smuggled in Red Cross cargo pallets, what about that? And obviously people do not want war. They don't want to finance a war because it's a very destructive activity. It destroys the economy of a nation, which, whatever level involvement it is. And plus, you will become a target in future for nothing. And obviously the latest is Sergio Mattarella, President of the Republic, really defining invasion of Ukraine by Russians. If it was like a neo-Nazi third right regime. Dear Mattarella, do you know your bloody history or not? Or you like Biden, your memory fails you many times. Just as well we haven't got characters like that on the red button, and otherwise at this moment Italy won't exist anymore. But they are pushing the narrative of a war in Europe and blaming the others, which they don't have guilt of this situation which are currently Italy, and like most European countries, it's the politicians. Even if I don't like politicians in general, but merit has to be recognised when they do some good things. Rarely. Like this Giuseppe Conte and his political party, they're just only ruin Italy. And abusing constitutional emergency powers in a pandemic, the famous DCPMs of the Prime Minister, which like he doesn't have to respond to the Italian Parliament, which in the end was not legitimate, legally speaking and constitutionally speaking as well. It goes against the constitution, Italian constitution, because you can't declare a state of emergency for a public health thing here in Italy. There's no bloody article in the Italian constitution for that. Only in a case of war. So they had to invent something. They didn't even discuss a parliamentary bill, emergency bill, to give them special powers. Doesn't exist. So what Giuseppe Conte done and Draghi done, it went against the constitution and everything against any single principle of democracy or laws or civil rights of the citizens of this country.